Hi, in this video we're going to find the missing angle in a quadrilateral. The first thing to remember is that the sum of all the angles in a quadrilateral equals to 360 degrees. Okay, you'll hear me repeat that quite often in this video because it's pretty much the solid information that you're going to have for any quadrilateral. Okay, let's take a look at the first quadrilateral that we have here. Okay, this quadrilateral is a trapezoid. Let us go ahead and name the angles A, B, C, and D. Let's say that the angles for the trapezoid are 60 degrees. (110 degrees) and 55 degrees. Okay, now what is the angle for angle C? What is the measure of angle C? This is the one that we are trying to find. Well, first remember that the sum of the angles in the quadrilateral equals to 360 degrees. Now there are two ways to solve this problem. The first way is to write an equation to find the missing angle, and an equation that you've seen in class already goes like this. The sum of the angles of all the angles in a quadrilateral is 360 degrees, and we're going to subtract that from the sum of the angles that we know. What are the angles that we know? We know A is 60 degrees, B is 110, and D is 55. And that is going to give us angle C. So let's go ahead and add up all the angles that we do know. Okay, not the 360 part, but we're going to add up the angles that we have here in the trapezoid. Okay, so 110 plus 60 is 0, 6 plus 1 is 7, 170. We added these two already. Now we're going to add the 55. 5 plus 0, 5. 7 plus 5, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2. We have 225. Okay? So we know that all of this is going to equal 225. So let's go ahead and rewrite what we know. Okay? So we have 360 minus 225. What will that give us? So let's go ahead and subtract that. So we have 360. I like to stack my numbers when I subtract. It's easier for me. If you can do it horizontally, go ahead and do it. Minus 225. So let's go ahead and take away, borrow from the 6. We're going to get a 5, add a 1. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. And 3 minus 2 is 1. So then what do we know? We know that our missing angle, angle C, is going to be 135 degrees. Now, I said that there's two ways to do this. The second way to do this is to think of money. Alright, everybody likes money. So 360 degrees, we're going to think of it as $360. Okay? Now when I say $360, think of the angles inside the trapezoid as more money. Okay? So I have $360, and I lent, well, I gave angle A $60. So how much do I have left? That means we're going to subtract 60. Okay, so 0, 0, 3. Then I went and I gave angle B $110. How much do I have left? I gave him 110, so we're going to subtract 110. 0, we can't take away. So we're going to borrow from the 3. 2. 10 minus 1 is 9. 2 minus 1 is 1. I have $190 left. Then I went and I gave angle D $55. So we'll subtract again. Okay, we can't take away 5 from 0, so I'm going to borrow from the 9. It's going to become an 8. That's going to become a 10. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. And then bring down the 1. So look at what we have here. We have 135. And then we just go back to degrees. Alright, let's see what we did here. Look, this value is the same as that value. So there was 2 ways of solving for the missing angle. We can do this with any type of quadrilateral. Okay, now let's go on to the next one. This one is a parallelogram. Now there's something special about a parallelogram. A parallelogram has 2 pairs of parallel sides and opposite sides are equal. What does that mean? It means that this line is congruent to this line. They're parallel and have the same length. And then we have this line up here that is congruent to this line down here. So we have 2 pairs of parallel lines. Okay, now the angles. There's something special about the angles in a parallelogram too. The angles, the opposite angles are equal to each other. They're congruent. So that means this angle here is congruent to this angle here. And this angle here is congruent to this angle here. Okay, so then you're going to have 2 pairs of different measures. So let's go ahead and find, let's go ahead and name the angles first. Okay, let's go ahead and name this one angle A. Put this angle B, angle C, angle D. Now let's go ahead and say that A is equal to 45 degrees. Alright, so I am going to write 45 degrees here. And angle D is going to measure 135. Let's put angle D as 135. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite that here. Angle A is equal to 45. Angle D is equal to 135. I'm just gonna put a line here to separate the 2 problems. So we can do this one actually 3 ways. The first way is to go ahead and write an equation with the angles that we do know. The second way is to think of it as money and to go ahead and start with 360 and then subtract each degree we do know. The third way is remembering the rule. Okay, remember that special thing about the quadrilateral or the quadrilaterals that are parallelograms? The opposite angles are equal to each other. Okay, so let's say I want to know the measure of angle C. Okay, what is the measure of angle C? Now if you remember the special thing about the parallelogram, the opposite angles are equal to each other. They're congruent. So if I know angle A, I'm gonna know angle C. So what is angle C? Angle C is going to be 45 degrees. I forgot my little degree mark here. And for the fun of it, let's figure out angle B. What's angle B? Now by the rule again, opposite angles are going to be congruent in a parallelogram. So if we know angle D, what is angle B? 135 degrees. Okay, now the last quadrilateral that we're going to have is a square. A square has 4 right angles and 4 equal sides. Okay, that means 4 sides. All these sides are going to be congruent. They're going to be equal. And all the angles are going to be right angles. So if I was to have a simple question as to, well, first let's go ahead and name the angles in the square. Let's go ahead and name this one A, angle A, angle B, angle C, angle D. Now remember that special thing about the square? They have all four sides are right angles. Remember what this little square in the corner means. It's a right angle. So what does a right angle measure? A right angle measures 90 degrees. Okay, so if I know the measure of one of the angles, well, in this case angle D, what do you think my other angles are going to measure? Well, I know from a square it has four right angles. So do I really need to think about it? Maybe just a little bit, just to remember that little special trick about a square. But in this case, we can just go ahead and find the measure for angle C. If the square has all right angles, it's going to be 90 degrees. So the angle C will equal 90 degrees. It'll be our first choice here. Okay, thank you. That's it for now.